Let's do this. Nice work. Something glimmers on the floor. Melanie, you are instantly upon the shining object. Melanie asks why you have such a... We were poor, so you begin. Then, leaving your past a mystery, you quickly throw aside the shiny piece of glass and move on. Let's do this. The ground collapses beneath your feet. You fall 3rd time's the charm. Let's do this. Oh? You did great. Nice work. Congrats. Have you savages no mercy? It sounds like he is saying something profound, but you do not understand it in the slightest. Melanie considers the words, but cannot seem to concentrate, with the oppressive heat radiating from Bruno's sweltering pose. Realizing the creature's words are beyond her comprehension, you feel your eye twitch. While everyone is distracted, the monster attacks. And fight. Excellent. Excellent. Though the battle is over, come on. We have to defeat that Why are you so upset? She explains that her mother... She did not say any more, but her hatred for the beast was clear in her eyes. roar again. It seems to be coming from the upper levels. Mar mules, as if in response, enamored by the adorable noise. You're obsessed, Melanie remarks snidely, but looks at you two as if wanting to pet Mar. It sounds like the roaring beast is close. Nice work. Congrats. About the enemy. door before you is shut quite tightly. It appears to have a keyhole. You insert the magical key into the hole and turn. You hear the lock come undone with a loud clank. The dragon may be just ahead. Suddenly realizing how afraid you are, you get a hold of yourself. You cross the threshold as if spurred forward by Melanie's heartening words. And fight. Nice work. You have finally arrived. More assassins calls, the dragons. Whether or not the beast is weak, you care not. You muster up your courage and shout, "Prepare yourself." Your legs tremble, but no matter how scared you are, the dragon will not wait. "We shall strike you down," you exclaim, slashing out while cheering on. Vince appears. Its wounds heal. You, too, would be troubled without this dragon. Stop spouting nonsense. Then it seems Melanie has lost her composure before her mother's killer. She unleashed, but it is repelled by the dragon's tufts, and the dragon returns the favor by spewing fire from its mouth. You seem to stand no chance against the revitalized dragon. Vince climbs atop the beast's back. The flapping of the dragon, "Stay out of this," Vince commands, then flies off toward the western sea. You worry for Melanie, who has been burnt badly by "Drink this," Bruno instructs. Bruno claims he drinks it every day. It is a recipe from his father, that of a "Make her drink it already," you cry. Melanie has a bad feeling about it, but downs it all in a single... And suddenly, at ease with her recovery, you descend the tower. The ocean spreads out before you. Return to shoreland in search of a boat to pursue the dragon. When you return, Oreo approaches. He says a raging wind blew through and destroyed the town. You explain that you need a boat to go. Sensing there may be a problem, you quickly make your way to the wharf. The woman says the violent winds, but if you can return her vessel to your brows furrow, knowing beside you, Bruno stretches, warming up his body. After striking a fantastic pose to show off his muscles, no matter how hard he pushes though, it's pointless, you sigh. Turning around, a muscle-bound Melanie stands before you. Now it's working, Bruno exclaims. It appears the custom supplement she drank. Let us combine our power. Her whole body racked with chills, Melanie screams out to you need Melanie's help to catch the dragon. You call out to her. You turn your earnest eyes to her and say, but unable to hold back at the sight of her. But in the next instant, you receive a violent punch. You hear your bones creak in a way you've never heard. But afterward, the two muscle-bound I will never be a beautiful bride like this, Melanie mutters sadly. You're wrong, Bruno exclaims. At any rate, you leave the port town and follow the dragon. Just as you are about to leave, Oreo comes to see you off. According to him, the dragon, rumor has it they are actively researching, understanding his father's Mount Medica. Something stirs deep inside your chest, but you blame your imagination. Wasn't that so much fun? Riddis can hardly Sure, Melanie croaks. Her face is... Riddis turns to you and carries on, oblivious. Wasn't that just the greatest? You, however, are a bit worn out. As you're mid-voyage, your first order of business should be a sweep of the island. A road stretches west from the docks, suggesting the presence of a house or settlement at the other end. Large boulders block the path before you. Alas, you must turn back. Looks like it's too early. take the lead. Taking in a white hot streak of pain shoots through your head. Feel the searing pain erases any hope of beads of sweat are pouring off you now as you struggle to keep your head in one piece. You greedily drink it down, desperate for relief. The pain begins to ebb and you hurriedly resolve to press on. You're in luck. I have some rare items for sale, she remarks, lining up some goods before you. She begins closing her shop, saying she needs to stock up on wares again. It seems you won't be able to do any more shopping here. And fact. Fortune favors the bold. fight. That was lucky. Up speed. A tornado is forming. You anticipate the tornado's path correctly and avoid getting swept up. A monster appears. You may be able to aid it by administering some curative. You would help it if you could, but you have no curative on hand. Unable to do anything more, you keep walking. A monster appears. You may be able to aid it by administering some antidote. You would help it if you could, but you have no antidote on hand. Unable to do anything more, you keep walking. That was lucky. After a time, you happen upon a village. Perhaps he is as anxious as you are about this place. You two okay? Melanie asks. You open your mouth, only to notice the ambush a moment too late. Repel the monster attack. You are accosted by a man the instant you set foot in the village. "Medicine, please," he begs. His eyes are glazed over, and his general demeanor unsettling. You give him a glimpse of the medicine. "Nothing in this life is free," you sneer. Your callousness is swiftly punished as the man runs off to who knows where, making you and the party resolve to continue exploring the village. Something is askew in this village. It would be best to proceed with caution until you can determine what is happening. The man glares at you. He insists that they all belong to him and refuses to share them with anyone. Another villager approaches you, though this villager is also behaving strangely. Will you acquiesce? Ritis briefly reveals the medicine under her cloak. Nothing. Her fun is short-lived, as she too loses her. You could not help but notice the groans of medicine. "Something's not right in this village," Bruno mutters, clearly worried. You hear a panicked cry up the road. "Stay with me. Focus on me." That can't be good. You must fancy yourself quite. "Stay if you want to stay," the innkeeper continues, utterly disinterested in even attempting to sell you on a room. The old man sighs, not wanting to be the only one left behind. He lifts the bottle in his hand to his lips and gulps it down. You ask the villager about the dragon. Dozens of empty medicine bottles litter the ground in front of this woman. You arrive on the scene to find a man collapsed in the street, convulsing. The noble man wears impressive white armor befitting a knight. Seeing the knight's devotion makes you feel a bit like a putz for doing nothing. You ask Bruno to provide some of his custom. He furrows his brow and solemnly shakes his head. The villager is now clawing at his own face with blood as black as tar. The convulsions subside. Within moments, a horrific thought makes itself known. This, even in a world where medicines and as well you know, that which is dead can never return. Your mind goes blank. You drop to your knee. Melanie clamps her hand to her mouth, stifling a scream. The knight hangs his head. Bruno, the knight's name, is Sherwin. His travels brought him to this village, where he has been carried. His face contorts in disgust. If Bruno gazes upon the villager's corpse with a look of apparent realization. A man approaches you as you walk. He sets about convincing you that your kindness will be returned to you. Reach for a bottle of medicine, completely taken in by his pitch. Bruno stills your hand. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Why do you want it so badly, you ask, affording him another opening. He first came in contact with it as a child.
His parents paid him no mind.
And never since forgot its wonderful taste. You are fully invested in this story, and desperate. I've heard better sob stories, Melanie says dryly. Bruno thinks you'd better not, but you're not so sure. The man smiles deliriously as he appears to have dropped something peculiar in his haste. You had best get out of here. If you stay here, then you too will, she begins, then suddenly starts cackling. You knock lightly on the door. He announces himself as, ask me anything you like. He could well be a font of knowledge. What will you ask him? You make mention of the village's exit. Selfor informs you that the island indeed suffered. He apologizes for the villagers' incivility. Consider it the price to pay for making the world a better place, he adds nonsensically. You ask if he has seen the dragon. Why, yes, he says. Oh, but don't worry, he continues. You notice Melanie lift an eyebrow at his... At any rate, the dragon's presence on the island is confirmed. You quietly celebrate. You ask if he is the one in charge. It's true that the villagers call him their head. Your questions satisfactorily, and he asks you to stop. We have yet to discuss the terms of your living here, he declares. You explain that you are only here to pursue. Selfor begs your forgiveness for thinking you were newcomers. It's perfectly understandable, though. What does he mean by that? Melanie asks you. For reasons unknown, you feel the blood drain from your... We're done here, you say defiantly, as you storm out of the house. Mar runs after you, chirping frantically. Melanie and the others give chase, but you and Mar are well out of... The two can't have gone far, though. It may be best to first search the village. Melanie and company find you. She can't quite make it out, but it's Melanie calls out to you, prompting you to blurt out, sorry, just had a bad stomachache back there, in your characteristically glib. I don't know why I bother worrying about you. So you were worried about me, you shoot back. No, I wasn't, she replies, her face reddening. There isn't a soul about. The house is surely abandoned. You spot a familiar-looking mage on the village streets. Winifred takes no notice of you. So, the Ivory Order buys their medicine just like Winifred and the apothecary speak in hushed tones. You'd guess, alas, she's just buying the though her presence suggests that with no desire to run into them, you make yourself scarce before she catches sight of you. This cursed island is separate. I heard that outsiders call this place Mount Medica, she remarks, then throws the empty bottle. The villager turns to face the wall once more and smacks his head against it repeatedly. His forehead is soon covered in blood. You spy the very people you... The last thing we need is a conflict. Why are we always hiding? Melanie hisses under her. Two members of the order are speaking with, giving how deferential they appear to be acting. Have you determined the dragon's location? Sherwin asks. The dragon appears to be occupying the volcano. I suggest we move. Now who should appear but Winifred? Preparations for our journey into the volcano are complete. Splendid. Sherwin walks off and out of sight, the other three following close behind. Lucky for you, you're hastily improvised. Yet their conversation raised as many questions as it answered. The medicine bottle Sherwin received is probably... Bruno recalls seeing a bottle much like it once before. He says it contains flash. Maybe that's what Winifred bought at the apothecary, Bruno continues. You know that the dragon is lurking in the volcano. Isn't it that mountain with all the smoke pouring out of it? Riddis asks, pointing westward. There was talk of capturing the dragon. Melanie picked up on the incongruity as well. You narrow your eyes. You three have no... Mar pinches your cheeks without warning. You yelp and... Returning to the matter at hand, it's clear what must be done. You'll have to get your hands on some flash freeze if you hope to enter the volcano. Happen to have any flash freeze? She flashes a wry smile. How do you steady? The meaning behind the question is utterly lost on you. The answer, then, would be the password. So, how do you steady the roiling magma's flow? Yes, you'd think so, she says. She pulls out her wares, but what you need is not among them. Your password merely granted you entry to the apothecary. She mutters softly. Alas, no. The old woman rolls her eyes, suddenly looking defeated. How did you know the answer? Did someone tell you? She mutters bitterly. You've managed to crack the code, and a bottle of flash freeze is yours. You've got a long road. The heat of the volcano engulfs you the moment you say... Of course, the dragon is hiding out here. Guess it's as good a place as any to corner him, you reason with yourself, trying to keep your spirits up.